Welcome. Talking with a Vietnam veteran about the veteran community. Joining us is retired Captain Frank Lambert for the United States Army. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
Recognition of what the Vietnam veterans endured, not just in combat like other troops had done, but also when you came home. Can you tell us a little bit of the story? You were a highly decorated veteran, but it was that service is so incredible for people to understand.
Well, my first experience was not very good. When we were evacuated to the hospital in Fort Dix, New Jersey, we had people throwing rocks at us and screaming baby killers, and we didn't know what they were talking about. And so over the years, I stopped telling my story. And then, however, I started to link up with a bunch of Vietnam veteran groups and realized all of the needs of Vietnam veterans. And so I just tried to stay involved. And it seems like there's a need that you can't imagine that somebody has that you can go out and help them with. Or the big thing is this Imprints of Honor organization, where so many veterans have never told their story. And they say, well, my story's not good enough. I wasn't in combat or whatever. And I said, it doesn't matter. It was totally unique. And you need to tell your story so your family knows what you did. And oh, by the way, Imprints of Honor puts it in the Library of Congress so that your story lives in perpetuity.
Isn't it important of those stories for the next for this generation of young men and women to understand what real sacrifice means? Even, you said, if someone thinks their story's not big enough, I think the importance is sacrifice and service.
Absolutely. I mean, how many people nowadays give up 3 years of their life for the service of their country? Most people try to avoid it. And so I think that's absolutely correct.
When you talk to other Vietnam veterans, do you share stories of that time period in combat? Do you share stories of what it was like to come home, to the reception you got? Is it a combination of both?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. The first thing is a story. Where were you? Who, because we're all in different battles and different experiences. And so you share that story. But then it gravitates to what happened when you came home and what happened afterwards.
Your story of combat and being rescued by somebody that eventually earned the Medal of Honor because of this, but your time in combat, you paid a heavy price yourself. How have you dealt with that over your life, with that price you paid?
I think I was lucky because coming from West Point, I was probably trained, and then also being a little bit older, I was probably trained a little bit more than the average draftee who was 18, 19, 20 years old. And he's in high school, and then a year later, he's in a battle in Vietnam. And so I've always felt lucky that I could tell my story because a lot of people can't. And so I try to tell the story. Hopefully, it resonates with people and gives them comfort.
What do you say to someone out there that's contemplating or should contemplate doing a veteran service event or going to help with a veteran organization? How much does it mean to veterans to know that the public still cares about their service and honors it?
Well, I think this is particularly critical for Vietnam vets because of the reception that we got back wasn't very good. And up until recently, we've never been recognized for our service. And so I think that anybody that can do something for the vets, the vet doesn't even realize oftentimes how important that is until they've ever experienced it. So I think it's really important.
Well, Captain Lambert, I appreciate your service, and I know it's kind of a tradition with Vietnam veterans to welcome each other home at times. And I just want to say to you, it's an honor to meet you, and I say welcome home.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your service and your time. We'll be back.